Ukraine attacks Russia's Iskander missile center. Then this happened.
June 5, 2025. Early morning. The darkness hasn't fully lifted yet. Deep inside Russia's Bryansk Oblast, a few kilometers from the city of Casualties, hidden in a dense forest. Russian soldiers from the 26th Missile Brigade were preparing their Iskander missile launchers. Massive trucks carrying deadly weapons, missiles already loaded, coordinates already set. The target was Kyiv, Ukraine's capital. Millions of people live there. At that moment they were sleeping. They had no idea that missiles were about to fly their way. But there was something the Russian soldiers didn't know either. Ukrainian intelligence was watching them. Through satellites, through drones, maybe through an informant, every movement was being tracked. A countdown had begun, but this countdown wasn't in Russia's favor. In just a few minutes, everything was about to change. This is the story of how one of the world's deadliest missile systems was destroyed, an operation that was considered impossible. And this was the first time Ukraine had ever done it. So let's begin. First, let's understand what the Iskander missile system actually is, and why it's considered so dangerous. The Iskander-M is Russia's most advanced short-range ballistic missile system. NATO calls it the SS-26 Stone. Development started in the 1990s. The Russian army officially adopted it in 2006. This missile can strike targets up to 500 kilometers away. Some reports suggest upgraded versions can reach 700 kilometers. The speed, Mach 6 to Mach 7, that's almost 9,000 kilometers per hour. So fast that you only get seconds of warning. Intercepting it with air defense systems is extremely difficult. But speed isn't the only thing that makes it deadly. The Iskander can maneuver during flight. It doesn't fly in a straight line. It can change direction at the last moment. To confuse radar, it releases decoys. Fake heat signatures, jammers, even modern air defense systems get confused. There are multiple warhead options too. High explosive fragmentation warheads weighing up to 500 kg, cluster munitions that cover wide areas, bunker busters that hit underground targets, and yes, nuclear capability, 10 to 50 kiloton yield. Each missile costs approximately $3 million. The launcher and support vehicles cost extra. Russia has around 160 Iskander mobile launchers. They're mounted on 8x8 MZKT-7930 trucks. Each truck carries 2 missiles. After firing, they change position immediately. Within 10-15 minutes, they're gone, hidden in forests. Finding and destroying them is extremely difficult, almost considered impossible. The 26th Missile Brigade is a special unit. It was the first Russian brigade to completely adopt the Iskander system, replacing the older Kyiv missiles. This brigade is part of the 6th Combined Arms Army under the Leningrad Military District. They're professionals, highly trained. Each crew member knows exactly what they're doing. Loading, targeting, firing, relocating, they've done it hundreds of times. But this brigade has a dark history, a history written in blood. August 2023, the 19th, the city of Chernihiv, Ukraine. It was a holiday, the Orthodox festival of Transfiguration. People were going to church, families were on the streets, children with their parents. A peaceful Sunday morning. Near the drama theater, a drone exhibition was taking place. Ukrainian drone manufacturers were showcasing their products. Military experts had come, media too. The location was kept secret for security reasons, but someone leaked it. Russia found out. And then, suddenly an Iskander missile fell from the sky, right in front of the theater. No warning, no siren, just sudden destruction. 7 people died, including a 6-year-old child and his mother. Over 200 people were injured. The blast wave damaged surrounding buildings. Windows shattered, cars were destroyed, blood on the roads. Sunday morning turned into blood and devastation. An investigation began. The SBU analyzed the fragments, calculated the trajectory, collected evidence. The investigation revealed that this attack was carried out by the 26th Missile Brigade, under the command of Colonel Pavel Rusakov, the same brigade that was now preparing to attack Kyiv in June 2025. Ukrainian forces remembered this brigade well. They hadn't forgotten. And now the opportunity for payback had arrived. At the end of May 2025, Russia launched a massive attack on Kyiv. 14 Iskander missiles and 250 drones were fired, upgraded Iskander missiles that were harder to intercept, equipped with new radar decoys. 9 missiles reached Kyiv, debris fell across 6 districts, 14 people were injured, Schools, clinics, residential buildings were all damaged. Ukrainian intelligence analyzed the data. The missiles had been launched from Bryansk Oblast, specifically from the Clincy area. This was exactly where the 26th Missile Brigade operated. Ukraine now had a clear target, but the question was, how do you find the launchers? How do you strike at exactly the right moment? Iskander launchers are mobile. After firing, they change position within 10-15 minutes. They hide in forests, in underground shelters, away from reconnaissance drones. Ukraine needed real-time intelligence and perfect timing. One mistake and the opportunity would be gone forever. At the beginning of June, Ukrainian intelligence agencies intensified their monitoring. The Security Service of Ukraine and Armed Forces reconnaissance units started working together. A joint operation, sharing information in real time. What were their sources? That hasn't been officially disclosed. Could be satellites, could be drones, human intelligence too, maybe an informant inside Russia. But one thing was clear. Ukrainians discovered that the 26th Brigade was positioning its launchers near Clincy, and the target would be Kyiv. Martyanovka village, only 40-50 kilometers from the Ukrainian border. This is where the launchers were deployed. On the morning of June 5th, intelligence confirmed that the launchers were in firing position. Missiles were loaded. The launch sequence was about to begin. Ukraine now had only minutes. The decision was made. The strike order was given. There was no option to waste time. If they were late, the launchers would fire and disappear. Ukrainian missiles launched. The exact weapon system still hasn't been officially revealed. Could be HIMARS, could be an indigenous Ukrainian missile, or some Western-supplied system that's still classified. The missiles entered Russian airspace, into Bryansk Oblast, 50 kilometers inside the border, deep into enemy territory. Russian air defense, it couldn't do anything. Maybe it didn't even detect them, or detected them but had no time to react. Target coordinates were locked, near Martyanovka village. And then, boom! One Iskander launcher exploded, massive fireball, the loaded missile also detonated, ammunition went up with it, fire and smoke spread through the forest. Then a second explosion, a third. Two more launchers were seriously damaged, possibly completely destroyed, vehicles burned, equipment ruined. Russian soldiers who were near the launchers, they had no chance. The Ukrainian General Staff released video footage. Night vision camera, thermal imaging. It clearly showed how the launcher was destroyed in the explosion. This was a first time in the entire war. In 3 years, it was the first time anyone had destroyed an Iskander launcher at its firing position, when it was ready to fire. What was the damage? Let's assess. 8 Russian soldiers killed, 5 wounded, trained missile crews, years of experience, gone in seconds. Open-source investigators later confirmed the identities of some soldiers, from social media profiles, from military records, from Russian obituaries. Senior Lieutenant Ivan Nerizin, born in 1998, only 27 years old, from Belgrade, graduate of the Mikhailovskaya Military Artillery Academy, artillery specialist. His family mourned on social media. Lieutenant Colonel Oleg Podozrov, senior officer, experienced commander, had an important position in the brigade. Both died in this attack, along with 6 other soldiers. Equipment losses were also massive. 1 launcher completely destroyed, nothing left, 2 more badly damaged, possibly irreparable, reload vehicles also damaged, command equipment too. The ammunition stockpile was also destroyed, missiles that were about to be loaded, all gone. Each launcher costs millions of dollars. Each missile is $3 million. Support vehicles are separate, training costs are separate. Total loss is difficult to estimate but definitely in the tens of millions. But the biggest thing, the planned attack on Kyiv was stopped. The missiles that were loaded never launched. How many civilians were saved, we'll never know, but definitely many. Ukrainian President Zelensky spoke on June 7th. He said, 3 Iskander systems were destroyed, pure killers eliminated. This statement suggested more launchers were destroyed. Maybe some additional damage that wasn't officially reported. There was no official statement from Russia's side, typical response. Whenever there's a major loss, silence. But Russian military bloggers confirmed the attack. Some even complained that air defense didn't work. Why was this attack important? Let's understand in detail. First point, this was the first confirmed case of an Iskander launcher being destroyed at its firing position. First time in 3 years of war, from February 2022 to June 2025. 1,198 days of war. And this was the first time it happened. Second point, this proved how advanced Ukraine's intelligence capabilities are, tracking mobile launchers, finding their exact location, identifying launch preparation, and striking at the perfect moment. All of this is extremely difficult. Remember the 1991 Gulf War? America tried scud hunting, trying to find Iraqi mobile missiles. Billions of dollars spent, satellites deployed, special forces sent in, yet they had limited success. Ukraine did what America could barely accomplish, with much fewer resources. Third point, psychological impact. Now Russian missile crews know they're not safe, not near the border, not deep inside Russia. There's danger all the time. This pressure will impact their effectiveness. Fourth point, tactical impact. Destroying a brigade's launcher means attacks from that area temporarily stop. It takes time to bring in new launchers. It takes time to replace crews. It takes time for training. Fifth point, a message was also sent. Those who kill civilians will be answered. Vengeance for Chernihiv was taken, partially, but it was taken. But Russia's Iskander production continues. According to Ukrainian intelligence, Russia can produce 60-70 Iskander-M ballistic missiles every month, plus 20-30 cruise missiles. Losing 3 out of 160 launchers is significant but not devastating. Russia can recover. And now Russia has developed the Iskander 1,000-kilometer range, even faster, even harder to intercept. It's in production in 2025. War continues, technology race continues. What happens next? Future predictions. Russia will move its launchers further away, tighten security, increase counterintelligence, but then range will decrease. Target options will become limited. It's a trade-off. Ukraine will keep improving its intelligence capabilities. More strikes are expected. In August 2025, the Molchino base was also attacked. 6 more Iskander vehicles were destroyed. A pattern is forming. NATO countries are watching very closely, analyzing the impact of Western weapons. This data will be useful for future decisions. Russia is also developing a new weapon, the Iskander 1,000-kilometer range, even faster, even harder to intercept. Deployment expected by the end of 2025. In Kaliningrad, dangerous for Europe. The arms race continues. The technology war continues. Neither side is giving up. This war isn't just being fought on the front lines, not in trenches, not with tanks. This is an intelligence war, a technology war, a war of precision strikes, a war of satellites and drones, a war of information. Every day, both sides are learning, adapting, improving. What works today might not work tomorrow. What seems impossible today might be routine next year. The Iskander was supposed to be untouchable, mobile, fast, protected by distance, protected by Russian air defense, protected by the simple fact that finding a moving target in a massive country is nearly impossible. But on June 5, 2025, Ukraine proved that nothing is untouchable. They tracked the launchers, they found the exact position, they calculated the timing, they launched the strike, and they succeeded. The brigade that killed civilians had its launchers destroyed. The soldiers who fired missiles at sleeping cities were killed. The attack on Kyiv that was about to happen never happened. Justice maybe not complete. 7 people died in Chernihiv, including a child. You can't bring them back, but this was a step, a message, a warning. Deterrence, definitely. Every Russian missile crew now knows you might be next. War goes on, but on this day, Ukraine proved something important. They can reach you, anywhere, anytime. If you kill civilians, you will be answered. This was the story of Ukraine's attack that will be remembered in history. The first confirmed Iskander launcher kill, making the impossible possible. What do you think? Can these strikes change the course of the war, or will Russia recover? Share your thoughts in the comments. If you found this video informative, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, press the bell icon so you don't miss videos like this. Share it with your friends who are interested in defense and geopolitics. See you in the next video. Until then, take care.